Well, more now on the government's proposals to privatise Royal Mail. With us is Stephen Gibson. He's a former chief economist with Postcom, which used to regulate the UK's postal services. Welcome to you indeed.
Hi.
This has been talked about for an awful long time, going back into previous governments. Why is it happening now?
OK, two reasons why the government says it's happening. The first is to change the commercial interests of the company, to give employees 10% of the share ownership, so every postman or postwoman will have £10,000 to £15,000 worth of shares, to actually motivate them to have a stake in the company, but also to ensure that there's the company isn't competing with health services, with education, and with other social services for government funds and for investment. Government has tried in the past, and right the way back to Heseltine, but hasn't been able to get the sort of political majority and political will behind it.
Can you sell something off and at the same time guarantee a level of service such as rural deliveries?
Well, that is going to be a big challenge. The universal service is enshrined in primary legislation. It requires an act of Parliament to change the obligation to deliver 6 days a week to every address in the country for a uniform price. But the market is only moving in one direction. Royal Mail has already lost 25 to 30% of its market over the last 4 or 5 years. And we can all see the way that things are going with e-substitution and with price rises to try and maintain profits, just accelerate that decline. So that's the real challenge.
Because the problem is deliveries to those rural areas are not profitable at all, are they? They're subsidised by urban areas at the moment. After 2015, is there a chance that actually this could all be scrapped?
Well, I mean, I don't think that it will be scrapped. I think we will have a postal service for a long time. The key questions are what's the level and quality of service, and
can we guarantee 6 days a week to every area in the UK?
Without, for example, government subsidies or subsidies from other sectors. Yeah.
I mean, where is the money to be made? As you say, more people are corresponding by email. More people getting bills online. Well, so it's parcels, is it?
Yeah, the obvious growth area is parcels, but that's a very challenging market because it's a very competitive market, whereas for letters, Royal Mail has had a historic monopoly, and while there's competition, they still dominate that market. In parcels, there are a large number of other very efficient parcels companies. Royal Mail's parcels network, packets network, has piggybacked on its letters network. And so it's going to transform the business to deliver value-added parcel services.
What about the post office?
The post office is totally separate. The post office will remain as part in public ownership. That's not being affected by these privatisations.
And stamps and the Queen's Head, what happens there?
Well, that's a very emotive subject. I'm not sure the sort of commercial issues are that strong. The Royal Mail will still be able to issue stamps with the Queen's Head on it and with any other pictures they choose to put on them as well.
Well, could they say, decide they're going to drop the Queen's Head, or is that?
Theoretically, possibly, but I think practically that's extremely unlikely. For
an investor, how attractive a prospect is the Royal Mail?
Well, it's in a very challenging market, and it's a very challenged company. And we've heard already about some of the challenges from industrial unrest and from the unions. I think it's going to really struggle to maintain long-term profits. In the short term, it'll be cash generative because the government has taken off £8 billion of pension deficit.
Now, we said that you used to be part of Postcom.
I was the chief economist there,
yeah.
Yes.
What is the situation in future going ahead of regulating the postal service?
Postal regulation has been transferred to Ofcom, and Ofcom is responsible for that. It has relaxed the regulatory regime, given Royal Mail a lot more commercial freedom, allowed them, for example, to increase their prices and to change the structure of their services.
But it will continue to be regulated?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
As the clouds roll in across the Mediterranean,